Hello, my name is Barbara Leland, and I'm a certified holistic health coach in Huntington Beach, and I do the healthy eating classes here at Hoag Cancer Center. So I hope you had a nice 4th of July, and we're going to continue today by celebrating our independence from junk food. So before we get into how to get away from junk food, I want to give you a little history lesson. It is not entirely your fault or my fault, our faults, that we have cravings, because our cravings go way back. In ancient times, it was really easy to find vegetables and leafy greens, vegetables, leaves, plants in the water, plants on the ground. Those root vegetables, all those things were pretty easy to come by. But other things, for example, fruit and sugars and fats, be it animal or vegetable, those were a little bit harder. You had to climb a tree, you had to hunt a bison, you had to put out a lot of energy in the way of calories to obtain the fruit and fats that are important for your body. So in order to make it something that you wanted to do, you had to have some motivation. So come into play is cravings for sugar and fat. And that way you would have the motivation to go to the trouble to climb that tree or hunt that bison or whatever it was. And another craving that came about is salt. And because sodium has been shown to reduce cortisol levels, cortisol is the hormone that is increased when we have a fight or flight situation, when we're under stress. So imagine being a caveman or a cavewoman. There were a lot of fight or flight situations going on. So the craving for salt was necessary to reduce those cortisol levels. And it wasn't easy. A lot of energy was expended to get that food, to get the minerals and to get the vitamins and to get the proteins and sugars and everything that we needed. A lot of energy was expended, so they would take in the energy, but they would expend the energy. But now it's not quite as hard to get food, if you want to call it food. We can pick up a phone, we can order online, we can have it delivered to our house, we can walk to the corner, and we can get something like that. So we have evolved. Maybe not in the ways we would have liked to, but we have evolved. And so even though the food is no longer scarce, our cravings are still there. And also, food manufacturers know how these food cravings work. There is something called a bliss point. And a bliss point is something that in the lab, the scientists are working, the food manufacturer scientists are working to achieve this bliss point. And this bliss point creates a cycle of addiction because the bliss point is a combination of sugar and fat, or salt and fat, or sugar and salt and fat, to get to the point where you have a food that's very addictive. And believe me, they've worked hard at that, and they always try to have either 2 of them or 3 of them. For example, there's a new popcorn I just saw at Trader Joe's that is it's lime popcorn, and it's super sweet, salty, and fatty, or oily. So it's got everything going on for it. Can you open that popcorn and just eat a kernel? No way. You're just going to keep on going and going. So that is definitely the bliss point. And our foods are addictive. And I know this chart is hard to see. So later on, you can go, there's the printout of this, the PDF of this, these slides are underneath the YouTube screen. If you look down, you'll see a link. And you can print out this chart, or you can look at it closer on your computer if you'd like. But basically, what this shows us is they did a study on how addictive our foods are, these favorite foods. And what they did is the frequency that the foods were taken based on these like 400 participants. And look where chocolate is. Chocolate is all the way to the left. The foods that are in blue are processed. The foods that are in orange are not. There are a few that they're saying are not processed that I don't agree with. For example, bacon, it's right in the middle, and I think that's pretty processed. But for the most part, if you look to the left, which is the highest rating or the highest addictiveness, it's all blue. It's all processed. And if you go down to, say, the apple is not so addictive, right? But where do you think your food choices should fall? So you don't want to be addicted to your foods. You want to eat for your health, not to feed your addiction. This is a chart of just a few items that just to show you that, again, this is another study they did, that if you look at, for example, the apple, and they're considering the apple a traditional food, there's 19 grams of sugar, but that sugar is all coming from natural sources. It's coming from the apple. There's no added sugar there. 0 grams of fat and 2 milligrams of sodium. So that definitely does not have the bliss point that the scientists are looking for. It does have the sugar, but it doesn't have the fat. And it definitely doesn't have the sodium. But look down at the, for example, the Dairy Queen chocolate ice cream cone. That's what they're calling hyper palatable. That has 34 grams of sugar, 10 grams of fat, and 160 milligrams of sodium. Definitely hits the bliss point. So these are the kind of things that we're going to go back to. We're going to remember, oh God, that Dairy Queen ice cream cone. But those are the kind of things that are going to instigate cravings. And that's what they want, because the more you crave them, the more you buy them. So how do we control these cravings when we're bombarded with marketing? And look at these children. When we were growing up, we had television with ads, and so we certainly were subjected to the same kind of marketing. But now it's even worse. And we're still subjected to what they are too, by the way, because we do the same things. But they're watching television, they're on their computer, they're getting pop-up ads, they're looking at their telephone. All of these things are causing a reaction. And it's difficult to overcome when you're constantly being bombarded with this. But you got to be strong. And we're going to fight back, and we're going to declare our independence. That's what it's all about. So one of the ways, the first things we want to do is not say we want to not eat this or not eat that. What we want to do is we want to say we're going to eat this or this or this. So you want to push out the bad by bringing in the good. So eating fruit, for example. If you eat a nice large quantity of fruits during the day, your sugar craving is going to be satisfied. But the sugar that you're having through the fruit is full of fiber. It has all the minerals, the nutrients. It's not empty calories at all, like the candy bar would be. And all of those things that are in the fruit help your body process the sugar. You don't get a sugar crash. And when you have a sugar crash, you crash, you're tired, you want more sugar to bring you back up. When you eat fruit, you don't have that situation. So we're going to put a lot of fruit into our system, and we're not going to even think about eating the candy bar, right? And then also we want to eat quality protein, because protein helps your body balance blood sugar levels, and it provides energy. And again, when we're reaching for sugar, oftentimes we're reaching for sugar because our energy levels are down. Sugar has it is the fastest source of quick energy. And when you have low blood sugar and you have low energy, they both create sugar cravings. You want to bring it back into balance when your blood sugar drops low. And it's really a quick response. And again, that will cause further sugar cravings. So we want to eat quality protein to help balance that blood sugar level so that we don't have a crash. We're eating the fruit that doesn't cause us to crash. We're eating quality protein that doesn't cause us to crash, helps balance our blood sugar level. And we're going to eat healthy fats. And the healthy fats also provide energy, more sustainable energy. They also, as a bonus, they're a source of essential fatty acids that the body can't make. So we're eating healthy fats. We're not going to be craving the fat that our body needs. So think of it, look at this. Our body needs healthy fats, but we don't differentiate between healthy fats and fat. We just know we want something fatty, right? Fatty and salty maybe. And so we reach for it. But if you have enough healthy fats in your system, if you're eating enough in your diet, you're not going to have that craving that will make you reach for something that you don't want. So what we're doing, again, we're bringing in the good foods. We're not saying, I'm not going to eat this and I'm not going to eat that. No, we're saying, I am going to eat lots of fruit. I'm going to eat lots of vegetables. I didn't mention vegetables here, but they're very important as well. I'm going to make sure I have good healthy fats, and I'm going to eat high quality protein. You do all that every day, you're not going to have room for the other, correct? So after we've decided to determine what kind of foods we should include in our diet, there's other things that we can do to help our cravings. We want to manage stress. So as I said before, when our body's under stress, it releases cortisol and other hormones that we're going to talk about when we get to sleep. But sodium has been shown to reduce cortisol levels. So what could be happening is you get into stress, a stress situation, your cortisol levels go up, and your body starts craving salt. You want to make sure you can help your body by trying to manage your stress in different ways, meditation or yoga, taking a nice peaceful walk in the park, things like that, putting on calm music, help manage your stress. There's a lot of stress we can't avoid, but how we react to it is in our control. Also, stress will increase your craving for sugar, because when we're stressed, our brain requires up to 12% more energy, and again, when we need energy, we reach for sugar. Simple carbohydrates, especially sugar, provide that energy like we talked about already. And then also, similar to stress, a lack of sleep affects your energy level. And so when you're tired, you're going to look for the quickest form of energy, which would be what we just said is sugar. Also, it also affects your hormone levels similar to stress. So the cortisol levels increase if you don't have enough sleep, and your body may look for salt. Leptin levels decrease, and leptin is what tells your brain to stop eating when you're full. If you don't have enough leptin, you're going to eventually catch up, but your brain isn't telling your body you're full. I mean, you don't want to wait till you're stuffed. Ghrelin increases, and ghrelin drives your appetite. So if you don't have enough sleep, you tend to feel more hungry. More ghrelin is a larger appetite. And your serotonin levels drop. And we know that serotonin is the happy hormone, right? The feel-good hormone. And if you don't have enough serotonin, you may look to outside sources to make yourself feel better. That's, the term comfort food, for example. So you want to make sure you get enough sleep. And then respect your circadian rhythm. And what the circadian rhythm is, it has to do with your 24-hour clock, and it all has to do with light and dark. So our bodies, if you think about how we started, there was no artificial light. So we would sleep at night, and we would wake up with the light. And that is how our bodies work the best. And when you're out of whack, when your circadian clock is out of whack, it can affect your impulse control. So you have a craving and you have no impulse control, you're going to make that craving is going to take over. So what you can do to reset your circadian rhythm is to try to go to bed every night at the same time. Try to go to bed closer to early than not. So don't be binging that show until 2 a.m. in the morning. Try to get yourself to bed at an early enough time and wake up as close to sunrise as you can. And that will reset your circadian rhythm. Your body will get used to that. Now, I know that some of us have to work at night and there's nothing you can do about it. So the best I can say for you is still try to be on a schedule that you don't work 5 days a week overnight, and then on Saturday and Sunday you're up all day. You're going to be whacked out. So try to get yourself into a rhythm. And then also the circadian rhythm also has to do with eating. And so when we were cave people, we would eat more at night because we would be we knew we would be fasting. We would be conserving our energy. So it's the same now. Your body's getting ready to fast for the night, and oftentimes, and do you have any cravings at night for sugar or something, a snack late at night? It's the same thing. Your body's getting ready to fast, and when you eat during that time, it disrupts the schedule. So that whacked out clock may make you crave foods later at night. So try eating before 8 p.m. to reset your eating rhythm, and don't eat anything else at 9, 10, 11. Don't eat something else right before you go to bed. Wait until you wake up in the morning, or even, maybe a little after. Have some lemon water when you wake up, maybe have some fruit in the morning. And this will reset your circadian rhythm for eating. And also, by the way, if you're eating nothing after 8 o'clock, and then you're like, what am I going to do? I wish I had a candy bar to go with this movie I'm binge watching. Maybe the no eating will make you say, I better just go to bed. So that could help set your circadian clock as well. Then now we've decided what kind of foods we're going to eat. We're going to get enough sleep. We're going to manage our stress. Now we have to think ahead, because when we plan ahead, we set a plan for ourselves. If you are hungry and it's 12 o'clock and you have nothing prepared, you might just reach for something fast, or you might run to the local junk food store, fast food place, and get a hamburger or something. But if you have something already prepared, a couple of things. One, if you're like me, you're not going to want to waste that you've already bought the ingredients for. You've already taken the time to prepare. You're not going to want to waste that and you're not going to go and eat junk food when you have something already made. And it's probably going to be something you like because you made it. So if you are meal prepping on Sunday, or whatever day is your Sunday, the beginning of your week, getting ready for the week ahead, that can keep you on track all week long. And there are a lot of apps and websites that can help you, and some of them are free and some of them are paid. I've used, of this list, I've used Yumly.com. I really like apps better than doing it like on a paper planner, because I like looking at my phone. But there's Yumly and Whisk. Both of those I have used, and the other ones I've looked at, but I haven't used those. But all of them are helping you to meal plan. And that really is, you put in your own recipes, whatever you want, or just your own ideas of what you're going to eat that week, and then shop for it. And some of these apps you can even create a shopping list from them. And then you are set. Then you prepare your food, and prepare as much as you can in advance, and to make it easier for yourself to want to have that food when it's time to eat. So by planning ahead, you reduce your food cue reactivity. So what is a food cue reactivity? It's just exactly what it sounds like. You see food and you react to it. So when you have food that's already prepared and it's food that's healthy, you are going to react to it by eating. If you don't have it prepared and you see junk food, you're going to react to that. So plan ahead and you can reduce your food cue reactivity to junk food. And then when you go shopping, when you go to the market, shop the perimeter of the market. You may have heard this before, but the produce, the grains, the protein, the dairy, that's on the perimeter. What's on the inside is the snacks and the junk food and the prepared foods, the crackers and the popcorn and the things like that. Generally, those are on the middle center aisles. So this is a kind of a typical grocery setup. And so you see how it's set up with the cash register in the front, blah, blah, blah. And then the center aisles, there are things in the center aisles that you may want, and the beans and the nut butters, etc. But try to do most of your shopping on the perimeter. And then the last thing I want to say about this is to visualize junk food in a negative manner. So this sounds kind of funny, but when you visualize something, it can help you. When I became a vegetarian 1,000 years ago, I did it because it was more about animals than health at that time. And I wanted to not eat animals. I had lived in LA all my life. I grew up in LA. I never saw animals that were for food. I just saw packages in the market. And so I would go to the market, buy a package and eat it, and never thought about it. Then I moved, and I lived in a few other places where there were more animals. I put it together. I realized that, the meat comes from those beautiful cows, and the chicken comes from those cute little yellow chicks. Anyway, that's what I would do, is I would visualize the animal, and that would stop me from eating the meat. Now, in this situation, you might want to visualize something like this woman down here is sneezing on her hand, and that could be the chef that's preparing your candy bar or your junk food in your prepped junky meal. Or the middle picture there is, you can see he or she has gained quite a bit of weight, can't get his belt buttoned. Junk food is fattening, so it would help to visualize that. Also, it can disrupt your digestive system. So all these things, if you can visualize this and really put it in your mind that these are kind of some of the things, you don't know who's processing your food. These are some of the things that might keep you away from cravings. So are there any questions? No questions today? What is going on? Usually I have so many questions. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to get them in there if you do. But if you have questions that come up later, you can go to 2life-2health@hotmail.com. That's my email. Or my website is www.2life-2health.com. And just let me know what your questions are, and I'll get back to you. So if there are no questions, all right, I will see you again in August, and we will be talking about having a gut feeling. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful July, and I'll see you in August. Thank you.